Hi guys, welcome back. So it's the 2nd of December, fabulous, second day in, and I haven't fallen apart yet. Yesterday, if any of you weren't watching, I did invigilating at an art gallery in St Helens. It's about an hour away from where I live, and I thought I'd pop in because I'm actually exhibiting there, and they do ask you to kind of help out with the invigilation. So I just thought it was my day off. I'll go there and I'll just show you the whole process of the whole day. It was great, a lovely little vlog and start off to the Christmas month as it was. Whilst I was there, obviously you're not going to be doing very much. So apart from now and again talking to people about not just your artwork but the whole exhibition as a whole, you end up having to do something there. And that's absolutely fine for me because I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to start drawing and getting some feedback off of some of the bits and pieces that I wanted to do. I grabbed an everyday object, which happened to be an orange. For me, it's a love-hate relationship with oranges because the texture that you get from the outside of it is just so hard to be able to do. When there's a challenge, I always like to try and go for it. So I decided to start destroying it and tearing it apart, tearing it into segments and drawing up not just the shape but also the shadows as well. So those are those three. As you may see, you did get a little sneaky peek at it yesterday, which is always fun. It only took me about 20 minutes to do all three of them, which is quite unique. This is just using a HB pencil, by the way. I tend to drop notes down at the bottom after I've completed it. The next stage, I had a massive pile of the skins, so I just started to draw them, and then I tried to translate it into just the shapes. I've dropped some notes down here saying left side is incredibly insane to look at. The shapes and shadows are vibrating the page more than I would have hoped. Lino printing areas could be best for this. So I was already thinking about the process of the next stage, which is always exciting. Drawing can easily be translated into lino printing because it's pretty much using the drawing lines. You get a bit of tracing paper, you print it onto the lino print and you carve it out, and it's pretty much done. And you've got a lino print there for life. And then I tried to just jazz things up a little bit by doing some single line because I didn't want to just stick to, well, just having a final outcome within about half an hour of me drawing. Go further and do some single line drawings with all the different segments touching each other so then I could continue on the lines. Out of these four, I enjoyed this one the most. I did add in the colour a little bit later because I was like, oh, I wonder what it would look like when it's not the colour orange. And this is what I got to in the end. I preferred the pink and the purple, but I think it's because it's so opposite to what orange is. Yes, it's kind of on the warmer side, but it's more towards the colder. Orange and brown did okay. Wasn't quite sure. I literally just said not sure about this one. And I've put segments of orange, prefer single line colour, not orange. Dark background, negative space. Again, still think about the process of the whole Shazam. And I've even starred it to remind myself that that is probably the process. How I would move on for this, I'd just get a bit of tracing paper and just draw all the lines on and then go from there. But I'll show you the whole process because I'm actually going to be doing the whole process on this video. Another bit of a negative space. Realised that the only key negative space was in the centre, and after that you had to put in the shapes and the shadows, and there was nothing much left for you to do unless I did all the shapes and shadows around it, but I didn't want it to be too dark. So that one I just kind of left. And the next one I was thinking about maybe doing a single line with some sort of colour or changing the colours up, and it was just not, for me this was just not working. I do tend to overstep the mark sometimes, but luckily because I've got that process behind me I can literally go back and see what was working within the whole me drawing it. I did put some little bits of notes, and I was also trying to work out some pricing bits from my art channel as well. Went back to the single line drawings, thoroughly enjoyed it. I found that less is more, so this is the main segment, and I just did one. It looked kind of like a airplane pillar section. They are better in terms of looseness and simplicity, but you've still got enough information there to describe what is going on. And this is when I started to think maybe I could do single line prints on top of each other but slightly edit them. You create this weird little bundle of mess, and this is where the second part came through. So I thought about several prints of the single line onto the same piece of paper but in different colours, but also using the poor inside bit as a way for me to print individually. So I was trying to replicate what I'll be doing with printmaking. So this would be the single line, the grey area, and then the colour bit would be slightly lower. I did go back to the original orange. I do have to make orange with my prints because I don't actually have the pure colour. But it's a simple and very quick process. It does mean that every single orange that I do make is a completely different colour orange to what you can get out of it, but I suppose that makes it a bit more unique. So that's what I've got to. Got some several ideas I want to try out. I definitely want to do the single line print first, and then because you've got the back of a lino print, I can start carving out the inside section as well, so that can go on with it. And because it's on one lino piece, it means it's a very quick process, so I can do several single lines and then try out this process and then go back to the single lines once they've dried and print in a different colour. So this is going to use up a lot of print, a lot of paper, but the experimentation is going to be great. And if there's any bits and pieces that I think are good enough to then process on with, any bits paper that I think stand alone by themselves can go towards the Under the Bed art cell. If you have no idea what it is, I'll leave a link down in the description below. So with that explanation said, I'm going to go away and start carving away at this lino print. So hopefully we will have something to show you at the end of this video. Okay, so about 20 minutes later, after I've carved this one out, we're going to try this. So this is going to be like kind of a test print, and it's also going to show me where the lines are going to turn up and what if there's any bits that I need to cut out of the background. So this has got some ink from last pour into it. You can really see where parts of it show up. I mean, it looks funky. I'll give them that. So this isn't the purpose to see how much ink or what the decorations. This is just to see how you're looking for if we need to carve anything out, basically. With the whole new process, I would be wetting the paper, so it's not a complete true representation of how it's going to look, but there we go, that's a bit better. Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to get rid of some of these lines around the edge, but part of me likes them, but I'm not sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on doing the next section. So I've got another piece of lino, so I'm going to do the negative space part of it. So where these lines are, those are the lines that aren't going to be carved out, whereas everything else is, so you can see the in-between parts. This one's done. I'm going to do another tester print, I already know some of these parts are going to show up, but you know what, it's all fun and games. Okay. More ink is required. I forgot to mention that this is completely normal. It's not because of the amount of ink you're putting on it, it's actually because it's the first line of print, so you kind of need a surface amount put onto it. There we go, that's better. Okay, so really like this one, and I kind of like the fact that I can see all the marks on the outside. I'm not sure though if I want to keep it, because this one as well I think works really well, so I don't know if I want to be able to do two versions of the prints. So we've got obviously this version where you can see all the negative space inside of it and you've got all the marks on the outside. Do I get rid of all the marks on the outside and then just have this middle print, but then have this piece as the main focus and you use that section there to then misprint lower down? It's gonna be one of those ones I'm gonna have to faff around with. I've still got a bit of liner left, so I could actually try and do both. So I'll see. It actually kind of looks a bit like a man's face, like that's a nose and then that's like the jaw, ear, and a bit of flick of your hair. Bit random, I know, but I suppose that's what keeps me going. Cool. So whilst I go and sort out what I'm going to be doing with this one, I'll keep you up to date for this month and I'll see how I go on from this point onwards. If you guys have any questions, please leave in the comment section below and I'll do my very best to answer them. In my description box I'll link to all my social medias and also my EB selling account, which is where you'll find all my artworks that I feature on my channel, plus a couple of extras. If you like, there's also a PayPal donation page in my description box. If you'd like to make a donation, greatly appreciated. If you can't do any of that, please just like and subscribe because it does help me out exactly the same. Till then, I shall see you guys later. Tomorrow I'm actually heading down to London, so there's a little sneak peek to what is happening and I'm bringing you with me. Bye guys.